Hello everyone, my name is Benaiah and welcome back to my channel. So tonight I wanted to make a shorter video on the topic of should Christians be calling Charlie Kirk a martyr? The basic story. Everybody knows what happened, so I'm not going to explain. So what triggered this question in my mind is I think it's important to question it and to think about it for present and future reference. And we are talking specifically about the word martyr in a Christian term specifically. And then I believe that this is important to talk about because whatever the conclusion is should result in how Christians should feel slash react. So from the faith perspective, as Christians in our faith, we should go directly to the Bible to see what God has already said about it. I'm going to be talking about two verses, and the first is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 10, and that is the Beatitudes, that is within the Beatitudes, and it says, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." I would just say that I think getting shot is persecution, so I'll just put that out there straight up. And so while in this context, Jesus is not, because these are the words of Jesus, by the way. I don't think, I mean, it's not that I don't think, I know he wasn't talking about martyrs specifically, but I do believe that this verse and this beatitude can apply to martyrers. Martyrs are made because of persecution. And the next verse is the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 10. And that says, "Do not be afraid of what you're about to suffer. I tell you, the devil will put some of you in prison to test you, and you will suffer persecution for 10 days. Be faithful even to the point of death, and I will give you life as your victor's crown." So for some context for this verse. So the audience of this verse is to the Christians in a place called Smyrna, and that was a city known for its loyalty to Rome and for persecuting Christians. So the situation was this church is praised for its faithfulness despite poverty and persecution. Unlike some churches, Smyrna receives no rebuke from Jesus, only encouragement. And if you look at that chapter in Revelation, it is Jesus just rebuking churches or just, kind of praising churches in a way, but just Jesus talking to seven churches. So then let's get into the meaning of verse 10. So Jesus warns them about coming persecution, and then in parentheses, prison and trials. And then the 10 days part likely means a short but complete period of suffering, not necessarily a literal 10 days. The command is to remain faithful even if it costs them their lives. And the promise is the crown of life, eternal reward, and victory over death. So, this is a call to courage, perseverance, and hope in the face of suffering. The crown of life is a symbol of eternal reward for those who endure faithfully. So, next I'm going to read how the HarperCollins Bible Dictionary describes a martyr. So it says martyr, Greek martys, a technical term in second century Christianity for those who showed allegiance to Christ by their death. In the New Testament, the death of Stephen, cross-reference Acts chapter 20, verse 20, and references to Christians who suffered death, cross-reference Revelation chapter 2, verse 13, chapter 17, verse 6, carry some of the nuances of this later meaning. The earlier Greek term, however, is generally translated to quote unquote witness. See Acts chapter 7, verses 54 through 58, and Revelation chapter 11, verses 2 through 11, which emphasize the prophetic witness rather than the death itself. So keep that in mind. Taking all that, does that apply to how Charlie Kirk died? And yes, it's not that hard to think about. It does apply to his beliefs. So one could argue that he was murdered because of his political beliefs, but if you claim to be a believer, especially that, you have to look at the underlying spiritual side because everything is far more of a spiritual war than a political war in a like physical war. And then also one could use the messages engraved on the casings to prove he was killed for his political beliefs, and those were quote unquote anti-fascist quote and transgender messages. And moving on, which okay, Charlie Kirk wasn't even a fascist. Go steady and look up what a fascist was and please get back to me. But Charlie's political ideologies or just beliefs were rooted in his faith in Christ. So not to go into the implications of my take, is he a martyr? In my opinion, yes. Charlie Kirk is a martyr since he was assassinated for what he believed in, which was, well, he still believes in it because he's in heaven literally praising him right now. Anyways, for what he believed in, which was Jesus Christ and his teachings. So now, thinking about that, how should the church respond? Well, the church should respond with action and far more spiritual action than physical. Now, if you want to dive into that topic and kind of hear me speak on that a little bit, but also something else related to Charlie Kirk, my experience with how that went down for me, I'm going to direct you to my last video that will be right here or right here. I don't know, but somewhere up here somewhere. Um, but thank you for tuning in and watching this very short video. I hope you learned something from this short and simple that Charlie Kirk is a martyr, plain and simple. You do not have to look that deep into it. Charlie Kirk is a martyr. I hope you have a great day. Please stay informed, think critically, and love Jesus and people.